Good day, this is Thumbs United. We're working on the photographs for Project Newfoundland. The, the documentary and everything has already been edited, but the photographs we're going to be working with are 35mm digital photographs that will be used for the Newfoundland book. So we have quite a few to go through. We have about, I think it's 310 or so photographs to edit for the book. The photographs that are used in the movie are actually a lie in the documentary. The those are still frames from a video, and that's how I was able to get so much footage out of the videos that I was shooting in 3D, the stereoscopic videos, and that's how I release it in 2D, 3D, and VR. But this is just this is a whole different camera. It's the Canon 35mm digital camera. Something completely different from what was actually in the documentary. Put in the chat. So far, there have been 5 episodes that have come out. VR version, and then the 3D for 3D. You can check out alternative photography there, but now Project Newfoundland is kind of getting reworked a little bit, where I am editing a new version of Project Newfoundland. Still going to be in 3D and VR and the normal 2-dimensional stuff, but it's going to be more narrative and going to be more episodes. So once it starts coming out, it will be releasing 1 episode a week for about 6 months, I think. And then, so like, let's say it comes out on a Monday. So Monday, the 2D version will come out. Then Wednesday, the 3D and the 3D for VR VR goggles will come out. I want to do it this way. Weird, but it's okay. Brightness a little bit up. This is just shells we were finding at the kind of lake slash beach. Well, it wasn't really a lake, it was a river. Really different. Totally. Left of the crab. Nice shell. Pretty much as good as. Right now we're traveling through Nova Scotia. We are in Cape Breton. Trying to discover this alternative way to from what I usually do. Usually I never touch the brightness and contrast. noticed that if I change the exposure, push it up a lot like that, then actually, even though it is overexposed, I'll make it even more overexposed. And then I actually, bring the brightness down. The highlights and everything, the bright area up here, preserved really well. And it really brings out the 35mm look with kind of the vignetting around the sides, everything, and then it appears to make the depth of field even more prominent. I guess it's because it has softer tones and everything, but I kind of noticed that changing that workaround. I don't know why it works. I mean, I kind of know why, but it's interesting that if you change the ways you edit, like it kind of looks the same way that I edit photographs, but the output, because I'm doing it in a different manner of creating strong dark tones thing, gets a different output. That's nice. That's kind of what we'll be doing. Bringing it down. And my mom was driving the car. These shots are just me taking photos as we drive through. So after this, we will do a little slideshow / photations series of the 35mm photograph. Not going to be as big as this next part of the documentary that I'm going to be releasing. The narrative version of Project Newfoundland is going to be around 23 episodes. It might be 24, but it's going to be 20-minute episodes for sure that are 20 minutes once a week. And again, that's going to be using 3D photographs and video. And it's almost done. It will definitely be going up on Patreon this June, this month. And there's going to be like 2 or 3 weeks of timed exclusivity to Patreon. And then it will release once a week ahead of everywhere else on Patreon, and then it will trickle down to YouTube and Twitch. I'm going to be trying to have it come out to Twitch the same time I do. I have it come to YouTube. It's easier to schedule things on YouTube, which is how I do all my uploads, is I schedule them sometimes 3 months or 4 months in advance. That's how I do everything, really. All my social media posts are scheduled. It was nice because I was able to schedule premieres in Twitch, and that way when something came public to YouTube, everyone who watches things on my Twitch account would also get to see it, kind of live as the premiere. But because I'm not affiliate yet, they took that feature away from me. I'm a little grumpy about, because it was like a lot of my viewers watched my produced stuff that I would do as reruns and everything. And they literally said, reruns and premieres don't count towards you getting any achievements. And so they were like, because of that, We took it away, and I was like, what? If it doesn't count, why don't you just let me keep doing it? It wasn't hurting anybody. Took it away. And if you're affiliate and partner, you still have that feature. But that's the main reason why I'm kind of more actively going for affiliate, is just to get that feature back, the premieres and reruns. Bring it down. Almost done. This was the first in Cape Breton. Second day. Took about a day and a half to get there from Michigan. This is looking over a cliff at the Cabot Trail. Way too bright. Shadows brighter. And bring down. I'll add back a little bit of the dark point. Rescue the cloud and everything. I'm gonna do the same here. I had the white balance set to the wrong thing. That's why I like shooting in RAW, because you can change the white balance setting after the fact. The camera records the light as it sees it. It's only when you convert it to a JPEG or something that it like defines it as being, shade or cloudy or sunshine. Because the JPEGs are so compressed. When you shoot in RAW, it captures the actual tone of the white balance of all the light that the sensor sees. And the reason why JPEG compresses it is because if it's, a sunny day, you don't need all that color detail. Okay. Anyway, back to RAW. So because JPEG is so compressed, it doesn't need to save the data of what the light looks like if it was sunshine or shade, when really it's an indoor lighting. It just doesn't need that pixel data. So, but RAW saves everything the sensor sees. Doesn't apply a lot of the settings, compressed down to JPEG. You export as JPEG, but you shouldn't take photos. A lot of times you don't even have to worry about what your white balance is when you're taking a photo in RAW. But it's a good practice to always set the white balance, because it will save you time editing. You don't have to go back and figure out what each photo the actual light was set at. Then, if like for whatever reason you decide you have to shoot in JPEG, it's one less setting you have to worry about if you're always setting it correctly. So like if you're shooting outdoors and it's sunny, and then all of a sudden you need to take, I don't know, 10 photos really fast at like 6 frames a second, but you want to take 30 of them. With the cameras, if you set it to JPEG, it can do that. Where if you set it to RAW, it's like, okay, you can still do photos at 6 or 7 frames per second. It only takes 6 of them, because it take like each JPEG, each RAW file is about, if it's 18 megapixel camera, it's about 20 megabytes or 30 megabytes. The higher the megapixel, the bigger the RAW file is, because it's as much data from each pixel. So if you're like doing sport photography and everything, a lot of times they'll shoot, even with the bigger cameras and everything, they'll shoot in JPEG. They can do like a burst shot for a minute of taking photos at 10 frames a second, just non-stop. You can't really do that with RAW. But the downside is you can't do as much post-processing. I don't even do a lot of post-processing. I just a little bit of this. I rarely open a photograph up in Photoshop to make crazy amount of adjustments. I don't even do dodge and burn. A lot of photographers do, and then they'll change exposures in different sections of the photograph, and I don't really do that. And then I saw this one photographer who I really like their work all the time, and then oh yeah, I totally add things in, and I was like, well, what? He has a couple aerial photographs, and for whatever reason he replaced the actual ocean, the CG ocean, from a plugin, and I was like, why? How's that? And he showed the before and after, and it wasn't like, in my opinion, it wasn't worth it. And then the photograph was essentially a lie. Like, she kept it, not that it looked better or bad, it's just me on principle. It's like, why would you? It's complicated. Can't use that because it's so blown out. I can show you. But see how the clouds out here are, it's all white? That's because it's so bright that it can't record the color, so it just kind of leaks into being black and white. Because the areas around these clouds, there's no clouds. It's just so bright. We kind of, that's where it's peaked at. That's kind of the not so nice thing about working is it is a very compressed format. Even though you're working with RAW and everything, the digital sensor can only see so much at a time. With film, you can really brighten and darken the image, and there's so much extra data there. Now we're going to, like the second time we've used the curves this stream. My previous, one of my other photographs, I did a lot of, I primarily edit the curve. After this time. But still not feeling the best. Yeah, I feel better today. Yesterday, it was terrible. I had the night before last night, I had a really bad case of insomnia. Like there was just nothing I could do, and so I just gave up and lied there in bed. And I was messed up, dizzy and nauseous, and so tired. Just a little bit. Bring the darkness, bring the brightness down. Raise the dark point. It really goes to completely black. Increase the contrast in the bright areas. Thing for the photo. This is actually a funny lens I'm using. 28mm lens, and supposedly the aperture is 2.8. I'm dubious of that, but it kind of adds this. It's an old-timey lens. But it adds like a soft focus around everything. It's not a haze, it's interesting. I do like to use it, but if I want crisp photos, it's not the best. Oh, and you know what? I'm straight up lying. This isn't that lens. This is my 50mm lens. So everything is has a really shallow depth of field because it's at 1.8. I think I'm only gonna stream for an hour. I'm exhausted. Got a lot of work outside. My day job is like in overdrive now. I work as a gardener, but it's been rain for like 3 weeks non-stop. Like one day of sunshine and everything. So that part's been difficult because I haven't really been able to get as many hours in as I wanted to. It means that when it is sunny, there's a ton of work to do. Fast as I could. Today. It's gonna rain tomorrow. I'll have time to do administrative stuff. Mainly with social networks and everything. Which I'm a little behind on. In some ways I'm ahead. But every time I get ahead, I think, oh, it would be cool to do these things on everything, and so then I schedule them and not a deterrent, but pile of things to do get bigger the more time I spend. Thank you, MagChange. I think you're auto hosting, but if you're not, thank you for hosting. I can't quite get this one or how I like it. That will be it. Starting to look for like jobs in like office jobs. I was gonna start looking for more retail work, but I kind of want to put my degree to work. Mainly because I put so much time and energy into getting the degree. I just think I should work in my field a little bit. If not a while. I'm not giving up on photography and everything. But I am downgrading it to kind of being a hobby. Something I do in my free time. And kind of doing that, well, it sounds a little like, oh, I'm giving up or depressing. A relief because it's something I'm always going to do. And yeah, so essentially I'm not giving up. But it is getting kind of downgraded to like a fun hobby. Everything. So there's no more pressure. How well each photograph does or what I'm doing is right or not. It's just, now it's going to be just for fun. That changes how I think about doing everything, because if it's just for fun, then it's like, do I enjoy, animating all these things, which I do, and so then I'll do it. And I don't like to do, I'll slow down and not do them. So then if everyone, likes what I do and everything, that's nice, because they're only enjoying the things that I like to do, instead of me having to make content I don't really like making. That makes sense. And the other thing that's nice is like I have cut the budget down of so many things that LCD Productions does, that it's down to about $150 a month to run the business. And so if I get, once I get a job, even if it's part-time or full-time, I'll still be able to, keep LCD Productions going at the lowest cost possible. That will be nice. A lot of it, because like I said, I schedule everything, a lot of it will take care of itself. Even though I'm going to be slowing down a little bit, it won't appear to be. I'm not going to be disappearing, and all the photography and everything will still be trickling out to social media and everything. And the reason why I'm like looking kind of higher end jobs, better paying jobs than retail is, I'm getting ready to like start traveling on my own. I want to visit friends in other countries, everything. And the photography is just, it's a slow burn business where it's getting more popular and popular every day, but it does it really slowly, consistently. That's good. That's just a waiting game. Yeah, essentially I just have to survive. And over time things will be better. I fixed my tripod. Oh my goodness. This is like the never-ending saga of my tripod. So I have this fluid head, which is the part you attach to the tripod. And so it's the part that, you twist the camera left or right or up and down. But you have to pay big bucks if you want one that's fluid. So what a fluid head means is that it's when you rotate the camera to the left or to the right, it does it very smoothly and it doesn't jerk around. 90% of tripods will come with a tripod head that's mechanical, and you can't do that. You can't pan left or right without it, jerking, or it's not a smooth motion. So if you want a fluid head, which is like the cinema tripods or the professional video tripods, you have to pay big bucks for it. So about a year ago, in 2013, I ordered a used one, just the tripod head. And I knew it didn't fit on my tripod that I had. I built an adapter so it could. And my tripod was good for holding a regular size camera, but the tripod head was so heavy that with the camera and everything on it, it was too much for the tripod. So recently, this last Christmas, I bought a tripod base that's actually for construction. So you might be wondering, well, why didn't I just order a photography tripod or a cinema tripod? And so the second you say you want a heavy duty photography tripod, or even if you add cinema to any equipment, it goes up hundreds of dollars. And so I can't do that. So I ordered a construction worker tripod for surveying. That's meant to hold like tool equipment, and it's really for surveying and holding what is the word? Like lasers and measuring tools and everything. So it's really heavy duty. And so I was able to attach the tripod to that, and then so I attached it to that. Over the winter, I've been filming with it and everything, and it worked out really well until I got my 500mm lens. And so my birthday, which is around Christmas, in February. So it's kind of like a 1-2 punch. Like I celebrate Christmas and then it's my birthday. I got $100 Amazon gift card. I was like, yeah. So there was this lens that I've been eyeballing since I was 12. Like, I kid you not. When I was 12, this lens, it was a 500mm lens, and it came with a 200mm ×2 teleconverter. So it would go up to 1,000mm with the teleconverter. Teleconverters, it's not so the lens quality goes down with the teleconverter, and so it's not a good 1,000mm lens. But it used, when I was 12 and everything, I was like, oh, I'm gonna save up, and it was like $300. Is a lot for a 12-year-old. I was like, one day I'll get this lens. And kind of forgot about it, after I graduated high school. I have before this lens, I had a 300mm lens, and then I had a 1.5 converter, so that makes it like 450. And I just kind of forgot about it for a little while. The problem with the 500mm lens is that you can't handhold it. It can't be a handheld lens, like, at all. 300 and 450 you can handhold a little bit. You have to really practice at it. But the 500mm is just, it's too much. It's essentially a telescope, but and like I use it as a telescope sometimes for my night shot. Anyway, so I got this lens, but it needs a T-mount. So what a T-mount means is you attach the lens to the tripod, and then the camera hangs off the lens. And it does it that way because the lens is so heavy that if you attached the camera to the tripod, the lens would snap the camera in half. And so cameras are pretty sturdy and they can hold their own weight. And so they can be attached to a lens and have the lens hold it up. That's no problem. It doesn't add that much wear or tear to the camera. So that means you have to attach, you have to attach the lens to the tripod. So when I attached, so I have a kind of a cinema kit with rails and everything. And so what I would do is I would attach the rails to the rail kit to the fluid head. And then I attached the T-mount to the rail kit. And that way I had the lens hood and I had other equipment I could attach to the camera and everything. But so with all that, it's like really heavy. And so the tripod head the connector to the tripod would come loose, and so it would kind of wiggle a little bit, which is fine if you're doing, photographs, but it always kind of worried me. And this one night I was taking pictures of the supermoon. Actually, one of the screws that holds the tripod head to the tripod, it just snapped in half, like it was too much stress for it. So I had to, it was like broken. So it's a 3-screw hole. If one of the screws breaks, then it doesn't work. If there were 4 screws holding it in place, then you could get away with one screw not working. Because it was only 3, it became really unstable. So I fixed it 3 months ago, but it was still wobbly. That really bothered me because it was still wobbly even with light lenses. And I took some solder, like stained glass solder. I kind of fused it together that way. Worked for a while, but it still was slightly wobbly from certain angles. And so eventually what I did was I got everything, as pinned down as I could, all the screws as tightened as I could. And I was actually able to take a penny and a dime. I just kind of hammered it into the place that was wobbling, and it still works. And I was like, wow, that was an easy fix. It wasn't so easy for the 3 months, but like it's still working. I have the camera mounted to it now. Still holding it. So it's passing the stress test. And I'm panning and tilting and rotating the 500mm lens with the camera on it and everything. Not wobbly at all. That's good. Later in the week, I'm going to be going to state parks to take pictures of wildlife. I'm really happy, and I hope the tripod holds up while I do that. blow it out. That. Kind of the opposite. Go to this park. Get my park pass. I wish they let you buy it online. They don't. You can get it when you get your car registered. I don't have a car to register. So that didn't work out because that's how I used to get it. When you get your license renewal, not your license renewal, your registration renewal, you get a little sticker. If you get the park pass on the sticker, then you can go into the state parks. You know, all of them year round. But since I don't have a car, you can only do that if you go to a state park. Ask for the park pass. The only reason why I wanted to do it online was so I could just pay with a credit card. I specifically went to the bank. Get the cash. Only like $12, but I never carry it. Good. Renton. I want to thank everyone. Now I've been out with traveling and work. I'm still going to be streaming and doing the photographies. Appreciate that. Completely died. The produced content. We have a ton of stuff edited. Just needs narration and kind of the final render, so that we have a lot more produced content. We already have a lot coming out, especially with the Vicky Barr Light Stewardess series. I mean, like that's with like 15 episodes. We'll be streaming every so often on can find that on Life to Tapes channel, and then Project Newfoundland is coming back. It's gonna be like another 23 episodes. There's a lot of produced content, and all the things we've been editing on Twitch is finally gonna be coming out publicly and to Patreon. I keep telling myself that it's gonna be nice that all the coming out, because it's easy to get stuck in a rut where you think, oh, I failed yet, but it's very close. And so I keep reminding myself that 90% of the way there, and even though not popular yet, haven't come out yet. What I mean is, like, I'll post photos and everything of projects and everything. Some will do okay and some won't, and it's always the opposite of what I think. There'll be a photograph that I think is absolutely gorgeous, get that much traction. And it's not so much because of the photograph, it's just it wasn't posted at the right time and the right people were there to see it. That's kind of luck. I mean, you kind of know when posts are going to do well and when they're not. But people like some of the work that that I feel mediocre about. But that's why I like to post a lot of photographs. I mean, not all at once, but I post things I don't feel the best about, because there's always somebody who actually enjoys that. Why keep it hidden, somewhere secret on a hard drive, never to see the light of day of somebody that appreciates. In some ways, that's what's nice about photos. I just worry that I'm getting people addicted to social media, which I hope isn't the case. Go out and I want my photography to inspire people to go outside, see the world around them, and travel. And I realize that the world is than you think, and far off places aren't that strange. They are beautiful. That's what the director's intention. I'm always worried that people just kind of stick to social media and media in general. I've known several people who have kind of overdosed on media and TV shows, and kind of causes go into a crippling depression. Actually happened to me before, where I was really depressed and just watched marathons. I barely got out of that. I didn't barely get out of it. A lot of work to get. Everyone, a day trip, go to the park, or you don't have to go to a state park or a national park. Just go to a city park, walk around it, and look. Take photos if you want to. Oh, you should, and print them out. A lot of times, digital photographs will get lost, or you store them on a hard drive and you forget where they are. But if you print it out and make albums and everything, those will last a long time. barely been streaming it out. Still kind of in a recovery. Can't be helped. I got the foot. Power line. I thought I could stream, but I can't. The joke of it is I made a second cup of coffee. I usually make a pot of coffee. I do the French press. It makes about a cup and a half, like a large cup in a regular cup. I mean, like, probably makes like, I don't know, 20 ounces of coffee. But, I usually only make it in the morning. Then I switch to like green tea or. But I was so tired. 5 o'clock. I'm gonna make a second pot of coffee. I did. I thought that would hold me over. Only 10 p.m. So I'm gonna archive these photographs. Thank everyone for out. It's been real. Actually, we did get a lot of work done. Really glad we edited about 90 photos. Exactly 90 photos. That's a good start. We have 1, 2, 4, 5 more sections to do. The next one's a big one. Next one we have 92 photographs to edit, and they're all about 20 for the rest of the sections. Out. I'll see everyone tomorrow. We'll be playing more Halo tomorrow. We'll probably stick with Halo 5. Kind of the problems. Like, I love Halo and everything, but the one issue I have with Halo 5, It's like the controls are awesome and the abilities you can do with the jumping and the armor lock and everything. That's all fun. But when you go from like Halo 4, Halo 5, the button schemes are completely different. And there's nothing you can kind of do to make them, similar because there's so many more options you have in Halo 5 that don't exist in any of the Halo games, which isn't a bad thing. Just, once you start playing Halo 5, you're gonna have to stay there and play Halo 5. Because if you go back to Halo 4, it's like, I don't remember how to throw grenades. I don't remember how to sprint. I don't remember how to do all these things. And so it actually makes Halo 4 going back to Halo 4 or Halo 3 or even Halo 2 a lot harder. So I'll be sticking with Halo 5 for a while. And we'll be bouncing around different levels in the campaign/story mode. I want to thank everyone for coming out. We'll see for Halo 5 tomorrow. Bye-bye.